In both developed and developing economies, taxation as a tax revenue is one of the most significant factors that contributes to a country's socio-economic growth. For Nigeria, it has provided the government an opportunity to collect additional revenues to fund their obligations.
A lot of people in Nigeria and Africa actually don't realize the importance of the payment of taxes. And that's basically because in the 60s, after they gained independence, they were quite content in selling natural assets, resources. And the funds they received at that point in time was just about adequate to meet government expenditure. But over the period, the prices of these natural resources have gone down. And now to meet the same type of expenditure, they have to focus on taxation. So now we have to change the thinking of all businesses and individuals to let them realize that if there's going to be economic development and infrastructural development, an increased standard of living, everyone has to pay taxes to fund it.
For 75 years, the mandate of the Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS, has been to operate a transparent and efficient tax system that optimizes tax revenue collection and voluntary compliance. Through its efforts, FIRS has assisted in promoting a predictable fiscal environment while financing the social and physical infrastructural needs of the country.
FIRS is like the engine room for the government. We have 3 tiers of government in Nigeria: federal, states, and the local governments. The revenue we generate is shared among all these tiers of government. Presently, we generate about 80% of the budget, and that makes that government can deliver on its promises and more services will be rendered to the public.
FIRS has made taxation the axis of national development. As Nigeria seeks to diversify its economy away from the oil sector, FIRS has implemented several initiatives to grow tax revenue for benefit of the nation.
The first step was to meet with staff and let them know the new vision. We're a service agency. We're here to serve the people, and at the same time we're here to make sure that all the tax laws are followed, meaning that taxpayers will pay taxes as when due. And we also signed an MOU with all the state boards of internal revenue to work together and to exchange tax information. And after 12 months, we were able to increase the tax database by over 800,000 of taxpayers who hadn't paid any taxes.
The biggest challenge in Nigeria is to get people to pay tax. Society itself does not even understand why they're paying these taxes.
There is a lot of lack of enlightenment. So we implemented some strategies.
Created a division called FEET, which is the Federal Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams. And they go around, talk to shop owners, tell them about the benefits of the payment of tax, and that we have to chip in just a little bit to make sure that we have the type of standard of living that we desire.
We spent a lot on sensitization.
And we showed them what they expect from them, what government is going to do with their money.
They go to markets, they go to major events.
We have jingles, we have videos, activities, we have radio programs. We are trying to reach out to the corners of Nigeria.
Apart from the use of the FIT Directorate and staff, we also embrace the use of ICT. This has gone a long way in assisting both the taxpayer and we, the tax administrators or the tax collectors.
We have a fully integrated tax administration system. It does everything from registration to assessments to risk evaluation to payments, penalties, every single function, including all the e-services, including mobile services. So it gives you your receipts, It allows you to have your taxpayer registration, and it allows you to log in and see your profile. You know how much you owe, how much you don't owe. But the system also does the back-end tax calculations and accounting, and it does it very, very efficiently. And we can do that efficiently for the millions of taxpayers in the country.
Today, taxpayers sit on their comfort zone, log on to e-stamping application, submit all the declarations, and get e-stamping assessment. The entire process is electronic.
FIRS has put in place various strategies and initiatives to ensure that it is able to improve tax revenue collection on a sustainable basis.
We are trying to modernize our tax authority. Now, one of the key requirements is that it should institute a clear mechanism for the settlement of tax disputes. So we have in FIRS today in Nigeria what we call the tax appeal tribunal. The justice we need is justice that will be delivered expeditiously, and the more we go to court to make arguments, to tie the money down, we are slowing down the work of government.
The greatest challenge for any tax administration is achieving and maintaining a high degree of self-assessment and voluntary compliance by taxpayers.
Well, the Tax Awareness Initiative, it's actually combined with the State Boards of Internal Revenue under the Joint Tax Board. And we have what we call Tax Thursdays, where we go around and try and wake people up and let them realize that it's their civic responsibility to pay taxes. And during this period, we've been able to grow the tax database from 10 million to 19.5 million. And I think even at the state level, the governors have now realized that as long as people pay tax, they expect certain things to be done with their tax revenue. So I think everybody is becoming more accountable and more focused on what we can do for ourselves instead of relying on grants and aids from other countries.
FIRS urges all Nigerians to support its efforts to reposition tax administration system in the country. Through their initiatives over the past 3 years, FIRS has demonstrated that taxes effectively improve the standard of living of the people and create a good business environment.
Taxes are very important, and it is the responsibility of the people to provide for the government to be able to serve them in the way and manner that they would want them served.
I owe an obligation to government, I owe an obligation to myself, so it's a civic duty to pay my taxes.
Increasingly, you've seen a lot of works going out there, critical infrastructure being put in place like roads and social provision and needs being addressed. These come from the contributions and taxes that we pay.
The present government, like you can see, they're constantly updating us on all the new projects that they have carried out, the roads, the rail projects, etc. So people are beginning to see where their tax revenue is being utilized.
Once they can see the revenue in action, more people will be willing to pay. Everybody benefits from the government. All Nigerians must play a role in contributing, no matter how small.
Let us as Nigerians believe in the Nigerian project. Nigerian belongs to all of us. And once you pay your tax, you have a right to challenge government and tell government you're not doing the right thing. Pay your tax and have a voice in the enterprise called Nigeria.
Well, if one looks at what transformations have occurred over the past 3 years, we've been able to improve revenue generation from 3.3 trillion to 4 trillion, and now heading towards 5.3 trillion. We've been able to educate the taxpaying public on the need to pay taxes. We deployed technology which gives taxpayers the opportunity to carry out all their tax activities and transactions online, and at the same time made it very transparent and accountable.
Through education, reform and innovation, FIRS continues to forge ahead to help place Nigeria on a path towards a diversified, sustainable and prosperous future. All funded by the Nigerian people.